Kathy Hochul might have just awakened a sleeping beast. Y'all have got to check this out.
The markets that the opposition doesn't think he stands a chance to win. You know what they keep saying? Things like this. Rob, pull up the Hochul clip in New York while she's talking to Jake Tapper. And this is after thousands of people showed up in Bronx. Look what she says, making fun of the supporters of Trump. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I'll tell you, it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx. New York will never, ever support Donald Trump for president. We know him better than anyone, and that means we understand what he's all about is just for himself. So this state will go solidly behind Joe Biden for president, as it has in the past. So he wants to spend his time doing these made-up fake rallies and pretending they're supporting here. Be my guest, because while you're doing that, Donald Trump, Joe Biden's out there on the other side, making sure he's delivering for all Americans. And so go ahead, spend all your time you want in New York, because we'll be with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's out there winning over the rest of the battleground states.
How is it a fake rally?
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the made-up fake crowd. I would love to see you have a Biden made-up fake crowd of 20,000 people. Just make it happen. Okay. How many people show up when he comes to speak or campaign?
300.
And by the way, I'm talking without Obama showing up. No Obama. Just him by himself. How many people will show up to see how interested they are in what he has to say, right?
Yeah.
But the more they do this goes back to what they did in 2016, which is try to trash the opponent. And they just pissed off the voter base more and more and more. And they said, did you just call me a clown? No problem. I'm going to show up with 50 clowns. I was planning on only voting with one other clown, but this time I'm showing up with 50 clowns. No problem. All these clowns are going to beat you. That's what you're doing to the opposition. Tom, thoughts on this?
Thoughts on this? I think that there is a very real chance, maybe only 15%, but rising, that she's going to regret that clip. Sienna Poll has it at 9%, actually 8.9% to be exact, which is as close as Trump has ever been.
Can you tell us what that means? What's 8.9%?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sienna, which is one of their polls, it's one of Kathy Hochul's favorite pollsters, has Biden versus Trump in the state of New York. Trump is at 8.9% behind Biden. It was a 24% crushing in the election. And you hear what's going on. So guess what? The polls are saying is that these made-up rallies in the Bronx apparently are also made-up voters who are not made up and showing up in the polls.
And you'd think, like, especially, I don't know what it is with the left. They cannot help themselves by learning a lesson. Hillary Clinton, when she said a basket of deplorables, that, like you said, sent everybody downhill. Are you not learning your lesson that the more you mess with our side, you're putting gasoline on the fire? With all the stuff with all the lawfare that they're doing with Trump, you're making him stronger, you're making him more popular. Whoever's in charge, and I know Hillary and Obama and all them are in charge of this thing, they are so stuck in their stupid ways, they'll never shift tactics. Shift your tactic, leave him alone. I'm telling you right now, PBD, if they stopped saying Trump and stopped saying stuff like that, they actually might have a chance. That is if they don't cheat, which we all know. I know it's going to happen, but just shut up, leave them alone. Don't talk about them. Don't talk about us. Clowns. You know how many New Yorkers that was? 25,000 people. You just lumped all of them, and you're the governor, you idiot. What are you talking about?
I think that they don't even have the wherewithal to realize it's making an impact. I think it's just a Freudian slip. They actually truly believe they are deplorables, they are clowns, they don't know anything. I don't think it's, I think this will garner Joe Biden some more votes. No. I think it's just their true feelings, true intentions about us are being released to the public. And then once it's gone, they're like, damn, we did it again. We freaking did it again. So I think she immediately regrets her decision. She's just not smart enough to recognize the impact that would have. The elites in charge just wanted to shut up, sit down, do what we're told. And we don't know what's truly best for us. We need to listen to them for them to tell us who to vote for. Yeah, okay.
And let's see if she's going to get reelected with that dumbass rhetoric.
Adam, what do you think about these clowns showing up for Trump's?
My fellow clown New Yorkers.
I don't have a massive issue with what she said, only because it's indicative of how divisive and fracturized and tribalized politics is these days. You would think, all right, you're the governor of New York. You should govern everybody. You should probably try to be a leader. This is someone who wasn't necessarily like elected per se. She came in on the heels after Andrew Cuomo was sort of tossed out, and she was, anointed. And she had a very close election with Lee Zeldin.
Lee Zeldin.
From Republican District 1.
I think this is a story that is here today, gone tomorrow. I don't think most Americans, from a national perspective, can even tell you who the governor of New York is, Kathy Hochul. Will people in New York remember this? For sure. And Tom brought up some stats. What do you always say that people talk, numbers scream? New York, in 2020, the election, Biden 60%, Trump 38%. So it was a 22% difference. 5.2 million people voted for Biden and 3.2 million people voted for Trump. So you got to flip 2 million votes in the state of New York. The thing that I'm more concerned with is, on the heels of that, the people came out and they were like, and we got to get rid of AOC. And I was like, you know what? That seems a little bit more reasonable and feasible because this is her district in the Bronx, right? That she won in 2018 was her first term, I believe. She won with 80% of the vote almost. 2020, because representatives run every 2 years, so every year they're governing and then they're campaigning. They're governing and they're campaigning. 2020, she won with 70% of the vote, and then in 2022, she won with another 70% of the vote, meaning her opponent had like 27% of the vote. So as much as we're seeing this rally in the Bronx,
what's the chance of him winning?
AOC is not.
What's the chance of Trump winning in New York?
2%.
No.
What's the chance of him winning in New York?
15%.
Tom,
I'm 10-15% right now.
you're 10-15%.
What about you?
I'm probably closer to 5 to 10% of him winning New York. But let me tell you this part. If he does pull off New York and beats them, there is a revolution going on.
Yes.
Okay?
It's a
if he
mandate.
beats New York. If he beats New York, overnight, you think the highlight video was wild of people crying in 2016 when imagine the people in New York who are going to be crying just because of him. You almost I would honestly pay $100,000. I would pay $1 million on Manect if Kathy Hochul was on Manect to do a 15-minute call while they announce that Trump beats her in New York and takes New York. If that were to happen, I'd pay $1 million just to look at her face for 15 minutes around her family, just to see how she reacts.
Fully agree with you, by the way.
I would say-
this is the
Pure
state.
entertainment.
I would personally say that I think that Donald Trump's chances of winning New York are probably 25%, just based off the fact that people are not excited to vote for Biden. People are not going, oh, we got to get out there, we got to vote. People are for Donald Trump. And yes, he was down by 2 million votes in the last election. Will this thing that Kathy Hochul said swing 2 million people? No, probably not. Probably a couple thousand. But the thing is, Biden's policies will. That is major. People are going to realize and notice, hey, you know what? Life is actually a lot worse than it was 4 years ago. Maybe he wasn't that bad. You know what? Let's take a chance on him again, because I want to see if we can get back to the way things used to be. Worrying about world wars and all of this nonsense that comes along with the Biden administration. I think people are slowly recognizing that. And also, everyone that supports Donald Trump, for the most part, is fired up about it. Everyone can't wait to go out to the voting booth to vote for him. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, people are like, oh, whatever, just not Trump. Anything but Trump. They might even flip to RFK. I'm telling you right now, maybe RFK will shift New York. RFK might steal a couple votes from Joe Biden, and who knows? I think it's going to be very tight, and I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Do you think Donald Trump has a chance in New York? How many states out of the 50 will Donald Trump win come the election? Let me know your thoughts down below. I want to get the general consensus between everybody. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash it, like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Until next time.